gotta turn off that fan. It's hot down here. Oh my God, I'm so excited today. Guess what? We've got these beautiful, beautiful swatches to go over. And let me tell you what, as I sit here looking at these beautiful colors, I can't help but think jewel tones. Does anyone else agree? I mean, especially whenever they're layered on top of each other, they're just, all I can think of is beautiful rubies and diamonds and sapphires and emeralds and maybe not diamonds, but okay. But you get what I'm saying. They're just a lovely, lovely shade, and they can be definitely watered down and made more transparent. As you can see, I went ahead and made a second chart for the half pans that I made. And I know it's this mixed brands, but that's an old case. And so my journey with these is that I actually at first went ahead and made this into my nice little plastic palette. As you can see, I kind of ran out of space. This is a 33 and there's 36 colors total, so I had to kind of squeeze some more in here, and that's okay, but that doesn't leave a lot of room to mix. And I don't know, I guess I love pouring pans, and I had to go ahead and do it for myself. I went ahead and had taken some, this is an old case, and I had some other pans in here, and I just went ahead and took them out, and I thought, well, we'll set them aside, and I went ahead and poured them into pans. So whenever you see these tubes, there's not a lot left in them. So you can definitely get, at least with the half pans and with the plastic palette, and I still have some left. So I'd say maybe a third, depending on how much I squeezed out. But as you can see, they're lovely. There's so many different colors. And as always, you may need a magnifying glass when reading these, because it shows you the little transparency, whether it is transparent, semi-opaque, or opaque. It has a lot of Chinese writing on it. That's okay, because it shows you the pigment number right there. And that's cool. 5 milliliters. Boy, it doesn't take long for it to get warm down here. So let's just go ahead and go over these swatches really quick. I'm going to go ahead and name them off for you. So we have Chinese white. And I actually did swatch the white. Not that it makes much of a difference on the white paper. Naples yellow red. We've got permanent lemon yellow. Very beautiful, bright yellow. We have a nice azo yellow deep, and azo yellow medium, azo yellow deep. Now there's not a whole big difference in these two colors. There's a little bit more pigment in this one, but I really just can't tell the difference too much. We have gamboge, we have vermilion, we have permanent orange, permanent red light, Madder Lake deep. Shoot. Madder Lake deep. Oh, I did it again. Okay, Madder Lake light, Madder Lake deep, permanent red deep. Now, to me, it would have made a lot more sense to go ahead and put the permanent red deep after the permanent red light, but that's just me being a Virgo. Quinacridone rose, beautiful shade. Gotta love this. I love this permanent red violet, so beautiful. Permanent blue violet, a lovely, nice purple shade. We've got cobalt blue. It's very opaque, but like I said, some of these colors actually all of these colors are pretty deep, and they're actually really easy to control. I like that, because this is kind of a student grade line. So let's go ahead and continue. This is Prussian blue, ultramarine, beautiful, strong ultramarine. Gotta love that. Nice granulating color, if that is your thing. We have phthalo blue. Phthalo blue actually kind of looks very much like Prussian blue. It doesn't, I don't know. See, it looks more phthalo on here, but they're not, this is the same kind of paper. Okay, whatever. Payne's gray. We have permanent yellow green, sap green, permanent green, hooker's green light, and hooker's green deep, olive, viridian, phthalo green, beautiful shade. You know, I'm partial to those turquoises. Yellow ochre, raw sienna. We've got these more skin tones, these natural tones. We've got burnt sienna, raw umber, burnt umber, and we have the black ivory. But the Van Dyke brown and the sepia, they look very similar, don't they? I mean, this one is obviously a little bit more, I don't know. See, on this card, this is the Van Dyke brown, and this is the sepia. I guess sepia has a little bit more warmth to it. I don't know what to think of that. Some of them are more opaque than others, like the raw sienna and the golden ochre is more opaque than some of these cobalt blue. But the rest of them are fairly transparent, but they have these rich, deep jewel tones. And I love that. I've never had a collection that kind of has consistently looked like that before altogether, like a set of jewel tones. So I'm excited for that. There is Lightfast information on the tube. However, it is in Chinese, and then afterwards it's got the little plus signs. So there you go. Okay, so we're going to talk Lightfast ratings. I know that this is hard to see, but there's a lot of information packed in this little card, and I thought it might as well be easier for me to use this on the small card versus the big one, because this one will be inside of my tin whenever I use it. So we have a star rating system here, and I just wrote down the little numbers. And most of them have a 3. The more stars, the better, obviously, and this varies from brand to brand. Let's see here. We've got Hooker's Deep, which is a number 2, and we have Viridian, which is 2 stars, Permanent Orange 2. I think they're mostly 3. It's good. It's not the best, but of course, as far as pigments are concerned, you know, you may have some fugitive pigments in Prussian blue, PB27, and in the permanent orange, you have the fugitive PO73, I believe it is. Anyways, these two, you might have some trouble keeping these from fading, but other than that, I mean, it's good. Like I said, it's not fantastic Lightfastness, but, you know, watercolors are very subject to fade anyways, even indoors. So, you know, unless you just want to keep everything in a sketchbook, you know, you run that risk with most watercolors anyways. Would I put it in direct sunlight or indirect sunlight? Probably not. Oh, I forgot to mention that cobalt blue that's 2 stars as well. Anyways, getting back to, man, we have this fly that, like, it won't go away. I've got a dragonfly here. It's been with me all day in my studio. It's so magical. I love it. Let's move on to the white. I mixed some white here, and I feel like this white is lovely. It's not chalky. It's a nice gradient there. I think that they mix well. I did add some of the ivory black, and I thought that's really, really pretty right there, the permanent red deep in the black. It didn't work so well with the cobalt being a granulating color. It's not the prettiest, but it is what it is. So it's just something to be aware of. I think maybe if you were going to darken a color, you might want to go for the Payne's Gray instead of the black ivory. Now, I went ahead and mixed some colors, and like I said, they remind me of jewel tones. And some of these are not that pretty. Like this is a very muddy color, but I kind of figured it would be, considering some of these that I was mixing along with it, because these are some of the skin tones. These are, you got your 3 cool tones and your 3 warm tones, but my goodness, this is Viridian, and Ultramarine has this just gorgeous blue teal color, this sort of deep blue teal color, and I just think it yielded some interesting results. Man, I mixed some ugly colors though. And some of it might be interesting to see what kind of muted tones could come about that, but some of them are just downright ugly. And in my opinion, it doesn't make it a good or bad thing with the paint. It's just my color mixing. Anyways, I wanted to really actually make a full spectrum color chart, but there are 36 colors that would take forever. Maybe someday. So here we have so you have your warm tones over here, you have your cool tones over here. With the mixing, I think they mix beautifully, and I love how pure the mixes look to me. We do have a lot of granulation going on here. That's not necessarily a good or bad thing. It just depends on what you like. We've got some skin tones, and I went ahead and wrote under each skin tone what the mix is so that I can go back and reference it later. These definitely were a lot darker whenever I first used them, but I figured that they probably would dry lighter anyways, because that's how watercolor usually works. And as far as I know, I'm going to be painting my lovely lady here. She is going to be some kind of goddess. I feel that goddess energy on her. And I'm excited because this is actually, I believe this is hot press paper. And this is a block, a Paul Rubens block that I got on AliExpress. I typically don't shop AliExpress just because I'm very impatient. But, and you never know what you're really getting. But with the name Paul Rubens attached to it, I thought, well, it should be pretty good. And I love the fact that it's circular. So I do plan to use these watercolors for this painting. And I'm excited to use some of these beautiful tones. I'm going to be doing a separate video as my agreement with the Paul Rubens company for this, and I did two separate videos for their Arctic Squash because they're kind of under the same umbrella. So hopefully this will turn out to be a wonderful experience, and so far it has, with the beautiful colors and tones, and the swatches do not disappoint. The color mixing does not disappoint. The skin tone mixing certainly doesn't disappoint. I think there's a lot of potential there. Next time I will be showing you my painting process, and we'll go over some more things, and it will be my final review and final thoughts. Thank you so much for joining me today, folks. Keep creating, and I will see you next time. Stay inspired and be safe. Color mixing, we have, you know, your ultramarine. Okay, I gotta talk.